All right, we are live. Jason Sloan here, Head of Operations and Business Development with Furtado Law Solutions. So we were thinking of what can we talk about today, and we came up with roof measurements. This is how we used to do it. I'm sure some of you guys still do it sometimes. We're going to talk about that as we go through. So obviously, if you guys have a simple roof, just a gable or something with just a couple valleys, doing a hand measure is very easy, and sometimes it's the best way to do it. However, in this time and age, with technology, it becomes easier and easier to use aerials and products like Hover as well. So we're going to go through a few of the big ones that are still available today. I've used probably about 10 products over time. So the ones we're going to go over is Eagle View, Roof Scope, Roofer, Hover, and that's it. So we're about to get started with all this. So let me move a couple screens around real quick. I just seen some disorganization, so let me get this fixed and then we'll get going. So let's see here. First one we're going to talk about is the goodie, the one that's been around forever, also the most accurate, Eagle View. So Eagle Views range from $22.50 to $75. Their website and also online everywhere doesn't say anything other than very accurate. And if you've used them, you know they are very accurate. Every once in a while there's some issues, but that goes with everything. For an example, I had one job that they were the last contractor. It had a low slope and they put shingles on, and so I had to give them details so they could fix that, but they got it all handled. We got that submitted to the insurance for the supplement, and it all worked out. The insurance didn't even have the correct Eagle View because of that. So with any of these, it may take some user suggestions to get that fixed. They also have wall reports available. One of the cons for them, difficult to order in rural areas. Now, as far as the pricing goes, the reason it's such a big range, it depends on the pricing model you're with. When you start out with them, you're at the base, so you're going to be at the highest end, and it's all based off of the size of the roof. They also cover commercial properties as well and HOAs, so multifamily. So that's really good. So they have the biggest range of everything. One of the things to look at also is 2D. I wish they would show, as far as their coverage, hey, this is only going to be a 2D map. And so that way you guys would be able to take your pitches. But I think that's part of what you guys should do anyways when you're documenting jobs, because that way if it says +6, which happens, it might be over a 7. It's just right there. And if you have that, that's going to help you get paid on those supplements. So taking those pictures with your pitch gauge, I prefer a real pitch gauge, but you can use one on your phone as well. The real ones are the most accurate, the old school ones, which I've shown. I didn't look for it, but I can show you guys that later at some future juncture. But one of the cool things about Eagle View is if you get with like Atlas on their preferred contractor program, which as far as I know is still free, you can get platinum roofing reports. So it's gonna say Atlas on there, but it's at the platinum pricing, which is really good pricing. So that's a little tip for you guys. Also, if you're a preferred contractor with most of the shingle manufacturers, you can get at least gold pricing. I know Certainty, your Shingle Master, it's gold pricing, and with With GAF, it's the same thing. If you're part of their roofing program, you're paying the $500 a year for that. As far as roof scope goes, it's $39.95 to $69.95. Also, also delivery. I forgot about that. 20 minutes to 3 days on Eagle View. The reason I say 20 minutes, most of Eagle Views are actually in the system. They've been through there because most insurance companies have been out there. They've flown them over, and so a lot of them you're going to get them very quick. So if it's 3 days, it's in an area that hasn't been hit with a storm in a very long time. Other than that, it's usually in the database. So I've ordered Eagle Views and it's taken 20 minutes. They do have a 3-hour rush available, so if it's a really important project, you can do that. With roof scope, you're at $39.95 to $69.95, depending on the size of the job and what you want. It's a 2 business days on the average ones. Next day is available, and that's where this rush delivery is. 95% accurate is what they claim, which I do believe they are very accurate. I've used them before. Wall reports are available, so that's a pro. Con, difficult to order in rural areas. Basically, all of them have this issue other than Hover. The one thing I don't really like the layout of roof scope, and we'll go over that in a little bit. I'll show that. The next one we're looking at is Roofer, $0 to $10. Now you're probably, if you know anything about Roofer, you know you can go on their website and you can do your own for $0. So if you're good at that kind of stuff, by all means do that. If you're good at CAD, you can do that, or you can order it for $10. They have a 24-hour turnaround. If you pay for one of their upgraded plans where you're paying a monthly fee, and you're using some of their other services, it's 6 to 12 hour turnaround depending on the plan. Accuracy, they claim very accurate, but they also have no guarantee. With Roofer, one of the things I would do is probably take a couple measurements, also do the pitch. If you have different pitches on the house, check those out, because that's going to be important with them to check that accuracy and then let them know. Pluses, most economical. The cons, no wall reports and rural coverage is not working with them. Gaf Quick Measure. Oh, that's another one. So that one is $18 to $20. It depends on if you're a preferred contractor with GF or not. It's $18 if you're a preferred contractor. It's under an hour for delivery. They don't have a rush because it's under an hour. 95% accurate is their claim, and GAF, they don't really put stuff on there unless it's gonna stand up. So they have a fast turnaround, price, good price, and then they have a feature to check coverage. The cons is limited coverage, so you're gonna have to look on there and see what's going on, and as far as whether you're covered. In the metro areas, major metro areas, no issue. In rurals, that's where you have an issue. Now, the last one we have is Hover. So they're $25 to $75, depending on how many facets a project is. They're a little bit different, and some of the other companies online, they have a similar model, but those other companies aren't as big, and you really don't hear from them too much. I've actually seen quite a few companies that were around, and now they're out of business. Even their websites aren't operational. Facebook page is still up, but you click on the website and it's gone. Delivery is within 24 hours. I didn't find any info about rush delivery. 95% accurate. One of the great pros on this is works well in rural areas. Wall reports are available and add-ons to show shingles, siding, and painting. So they actually have a setup so you can, whether you're in-house or, with the whole COVID thing, if it's still an issue where you're at, you can send this report to your clients and they can click on it. They can click different shingles, different colors. You can put what's available in your area, what you guys use, that kind of stuff. Or if you'll do anything, that's all available on there too. The con is you have to be on site, so you're going to be taking pictures. There's another program that I'm actually going to be showing you guys pretty soon. I overseen it. It's actually they do exterior, but they also do a lot of interior stuff as well. So once I can get a little more information on the exterior stuff, I will be having them on a live to show you guys that product. Because I know a lot of you guys that are doing hurricane work, or if you're trying to expand, because, you know, like in Colorado, when we didn't have hail last year, being able to do fire and water losses, some guys were doing that. They were changing what they were doing and doing other trades to keep busy and keep the money flowing. So you're going to be taking pictures on each elevation and on the corners. I did have one that I did a few years back that it actually didn't even take. As far as it didn't show up, it said I needed better pictures. So some of that's user error and figuring out that. It's overall, it's a great product. I like it. Some people don't think it's accurate. Overall, I've seen that it's fairly accurate. And they say it's 95%. So that's the overview. Now we're going to actually look at the reports. And then you guys can decide on what you guys like. Obviously, Eagle View. Oh, the other great thing about Eagle View is they fly over most of the U.S. every year. And they do it when the trees typically have lost their leaves. So they're either doing it late fall or early spring. But once again, there's areas that are rural and they're not going over those. And those are where you're going to have those 2Ds. So if you're working in the middle of nowhere, I would, and you're doing a lot of work, or even if you're just doing one, if it's an hour drive or more, you should contact them and find out what their coverage is. And then that way you know what you need to do. So this is obviously a more complicated one. They're using that for their looks. I like all the detail on Eagle Views. That's always great. Here's your overview on your measurements, but it breaks it all down. If you have multiple buildings, it's going to break all that information down as well. You're going to have, your measurements for your eaves, your rakes, your valleys, your step flashing, your L flashing head wall, your hip and ridge. Some of the things I don't like is, for starter, they're only using your eaves, which you're supposed to have it on your eaves and rakes, but it is what it is. So you can add that. Also, you have all your pitches. This, once again, it's saying 6+. So if it was me, I would be checking it with my pitch gauge, because guess what? If this is a 7, that's a lot of extra money on this job. Breaking everything down in facets. The reason this is important is every once in a while you're going to do repairs on certain sections, as you guys know. Obviously, that's not the goal, but sometimes that's how it is. And you might have something that's they don't have coverage on their house or something like that. And they break it down real nice. It doesn't just show the square feet. Right here, it's giving all the planning. So you can look and say, oh, you know what? I'm only doing this little section right here. So I, R, H, E, and D. And then you can go down and you can get all that information. This one isn't showing it. This obviously isn't completely updated for the new stuff. But right here's a great thing also. That Eagle View includes that the other ones, some of them are starting to put suggested waste, but it says suggested waste factor only includes areas of 312 or greater for asphalt shingles. So that's what they're saying, asphalt shingles. They are not saying any other product. So if there's the specialty product you're using and the manufacturer says, hey, the waste is supposed to be this much, then you guys can use that information along with this. Squares rounded to the nearest bundle, and obviously this is for a normal type of shingle, standard laminate, nothing fancy. And then additional materials needed for ridge, hip, and starter are not included in the above table. This is good. We use this a lot to be getting starter and ridge paid for the contractors we work with. So you guys can be using that. Here's the next one. It's roof scope. So they have a nice one, but it's a lot simpler. It's broken down a little bit different. They have it for if you have multiple structures. Some guys really like this. I don't love it, you know. This is showing waste factors, but it has nothing about suggested waste factor, and it stops at 15%. Some of these need a higher one, like this one's 29. This one, it might need more than 15%. And there's actually a waste factor calculator. I think they're charging for it now, but I'll see if I can get it, the older version, and get it for you guys and have that as a download. It was an Excel spreadsheet, so I'll look into that for you guys. Here's the second. Obviously, it's just a small awning building, gazebo, I guess you would call it. But it's real simple. Like I said, you got to figure out some of your own stuff with it. So I don't love their info that they have. Here's Roofer. Like you said, this is the new heavy hitter, best price, but obviously you're going to have to double check some stuff. If this was me, I would be checking a couple measurements on here as far as, your rafter length, an eave or two, and also your pitches, and go from there. And then that way you have some information, good information to double check. The reports look good. They have a lot of information. Eaves, valleys, hips, ridge, step flashing, rakes, transitions, wall flashing, and unspecified. And it goes into the areas, so it's going to show predominant pitch and predominant pitch area, total area, and break stuff down for you guys as well. So here's your 10, 12s, 12, 12s as well. So I really like the way their reports look. I just wish they were more accurate. Maybe once they get to a point where they're charging more, they'll be more accurate. And you'll be able to use it more with the insurance. I've seen them compared to an Eagle View, and it's pretty, even on a small building, it's off. And so to me, it's a good reference point. But as far as fighting with the insurance, it's an extra square. If the insurance already has Eagle View, you're probably not going to make much headway unless you did some hand measurements. And that way you would have that. But it is a very detailed report compared to Roof Scope. So on those things, I really like it. Also right here's material estimate. So it tells you how much you need as far as bundles for a lot of different products. So that's actually really good. Here's GAF Quick Measure. Like I said, if you're a GAF contractor, you get these for less. Get them within an hour, but you have to make sure that you have coverage in that area. So that's one of the other things. But I like them. They have enough detail to do what you need to do, and it's laid out good. Doesn't have, as far as suggested waste, like Eagle View. And this one, Roofer, I believe they started doing it on the newer stuff. This is like an older one, but I believe they have it now, suggested waste on those as well. So, lastly, we have hover. Now with hover, once again, you're taking those pictures. Now this house was on a hill. You'll be able to see the different pictures that I took to get that. Now it did fairly accurate. Now even with if this house was in an area that you could get a regular aerial, this area right here was a dead valley. They had a fire, and so somebody had built a flat section right here, rather because it was just easier to just tie those two ridges together, which it was actually a pretty good idea. But we had to fix the framing and everything when we did this job. But I found that and I used it on a few jobs where I had to do siding and everything. And I was out there and it was rural, so I just used them and it worked really good. I also used them. They have a free report, so that's always good as well. Now to what I'm thinking. Obviously, I've discussed this. I think the best one all around is Eagle View, but they also are one of the most expensive. My second choice is going to be, if you're just doing roofs, is going to be Roofer. The reason being is if you already have your estimate from the insurance, you already have your good idea as far as squares and everything. And if they already have an Eagle View on theirs, then you're good. If they're using something else, well, you might want to double check. And also, if you're on a big roof, you may want to just do that Eagle View because of the accuracy. You might try on a few projects doing both and seeing what you guys think. I did that with Roof Scope back in the day. Now they're a lot more accurate than they used to be, but the detail isn't there like I would like it. Gaf Quick Measure I really like, but it doesn't have all the background. So for cut up roofs, definitely Eagle View. And then if you're in the middle of nowhere, definitely JF. But make sure you guys are verifying some of your information. Get those pitches, double check that. Use your company cam or whatever you're using. Also, there's a newer program that's a CRM called RoofLink. We're going to be getting them on a Facebook Live very soon. Not next week because we have a financial guy next week to go over some financing for you guys. But it's going to be in the next 2-3 weeks. We're going to have him on. And they actually have a software similar to Roofer. Not sure as far as the insurance companies accepting it. Also, the other thing you guys need to think about is Eagle View is set up so that way most insurance carriers accept it. The other cool thing about Eagle View is you can use an ESX file and put it into your for creating or adding on to your Xactimates. So if sometimes you want to use that, it looks cool. It looks good for your clients. I have one contractor we're working with, and he likes those in all of them, so that's what we do for him. Don't know why, but that's his deal. So that's my viewpoint. So Eagle View's top choice. Roofers second as far as just overall. And as far as in the rurals, hover. Also hover, in order to do it, you have to have their app. So that's important too to think about is getting their app. Also, if you're with, I believe they have discounts still with most of the roofing and siding companies. So check into that if you're a preferred contractor, if you get a deal. And that's always something to look at also. So I think that's it. As always, if you need help with your supplements or your estimates, you can give me a call at 720-296-6618. Again, at 720-296-6618, or you can email me at jason@furtadolaw.solutions. Um, Also, we're still looking for a couple contractors to work with us on that new pilot program for the $300 supplements. And that, once again, it's not $300 no matter what. It's, that's the fee that goes towards anything else. So if we knock it out of the park, obviously it's going to be 10% of the difference. So, and we have quite a few of those that go from a repair to a full replacement. So if you need anything, you know how to get a hold of me, and talk to you soon.